The Imperial Soldiers, also commonly referred to as the Bluecoats, were the first Imperial faction pitted against Captain Roger Redbeard and his pirate crew. With a simple yet elegant design for the figures, along with an impressive network of bases, the Imperial Soldiers were a great first foe for the pirates, and they were certainly instrumental in setting up the original LEGO Pirates theme for success. For better or worse, the soldiers only appeared in the 1989 and 1991 sets, but thankfully, LEGO revived this faction in 2015 for the self-titled Pirates reboot, which saw the soldiers take on Redbeard once again. While I'm unsure if we'll ever see another unlicensed pirate theme hit shelves, LEGO honored this faction once more with the Eldorado Fortress retro remake that came out under the Icons theme in 2023, as the only faction that has appeared in 4 separate decades, with sets released in the 80s, 90s, 2010s, and 2020s, I thought it would be fun to rank every LEGO Imperial Soldiers set ever made. Before I jump into this tier list, it's important for me to acknowledge what I consider an Imperial Soldiers set to be. No, an Imperial Soldiers set is not any set that includes the Bluecoats. It has to be a build that is centered around the faction, such as the Bluecoats' fortresses and bases. Throughout today's video, be sure to let me know your thoughts down below. Whether you agree or disagree, this is a safe place for LEGO Pirates fans to air out all their thoughts on the first LEGO Pirates faction. Well, without further ado, let's jump into this tier list. The first set I'll be talking about today is Harbor Sentry, a 1989 set that includes a small red boat with a cannon, along with Lieutenant de Martinet, an officer with a gold epaulet. There isn't much to this set, but at the same time it serves as a nice little add-on build. It isn't meant to have any sort of wow factor. It exists to complement the overall theme and line of products, which it does well. The inclusion of a lieutenant as opposed to a normal soldier is a nice touch, but ultimately I'll be putting this set in B tier. As we continue ranking the sets released in 1989, we make our way to our first location set included in today's tier list, that being Saber Island. Built on a 16x16 base plate, this tiny tower is by no means the biggest and baddest fort belonging to the Imperial Soldiers. That being said, the features that come with this set, between the cannon in the back or the red boat that accompanies this build, help add some charm to this relatively simple tower. Still, even with these fun add-ons, I think it's probably the worst location set to come out, alongside the Imperial Soldiers. Looking back, I would have loved to see the tower be a bit taller. Again, I know it's a small fortress, but something a little more imposing would have been nice to see. For these reasons, I'll be putting this set in C tier. Caribbean Clipper is the sole ship we'll be looking at today, and before I can even get into this ranking, I need to acknowledge how biased I am when it comes to Imperial ships. Of course, I love the pirate ships and hideouts that are included in every iteration of LEGO Pirates. Who doesn't? But a proper Imperial presence is what I truly adore, as the inclusion of a fantastic faction is of the utmost importance when creating a LEGO pirate world. Of course, that's why I love the location sets, as they show the strength of the Imperials. But even more so, I am a super fan when it comes to Imperial ships. We all know the Imperials can take on the pirates with their various networks of bases, but seeing them hit the seas with their own ship is what I nerd out on. Sure, the Caribbean Clipper isn't the best Imperial ship ever released. We all know what set that title belongs to, but nevertheless, this small clipper saw LEGO give the first Imperial faction their own presence on the seas. Trust me, I want to put this build at S tier so badly. But the fact it isn't just a little bigger is why I'm sticking it in A tier. Eldorado Fortress is the final Imperial Soldiers set from 1989 we'll be looking at today. And wow, this is a location set done right. Everything about this set in my eyes is perfect. The raised base plate, tiny dock, pulley system, holding cell, various lookout towers, and the continuation of the white and yellow color combination with hints of red bricks all come together to create a fully operational fortress that set the stage for what LEGO fans could expect when it came to larger Imperial forts. It's a busy fort with a lot going on, but it does not feel packed. With 2 small boats, along with Governor Broadside and Captain Roger Redbeard, it's also perfect for play. Sure, I did not put the Clipper in the top tier, but that's not stopping Eldorado from going where it belongs, S tier. Moving on to the 1991 sets, we start off with Broadside's Brig. Similar to Saber Island, this is a tiny location set that comes with 2 blue coats and a holding cell where a pirate can be placed. Luckily for fans, LEGO continued the white and yellow color combination with hints of red bricks for the 1991 sets, which I love. Now, while this is another small, simple build, I do prefer it over Saber Island. Perhaps that's because of the inclusion of the pirate or just the overall look of the base, which I like more than the tower. But either way, the Brig is going in B tier. Unfortunately, only 2 sets were centered around the Imperial Soldiers in 1991, with Lagoon Lockup being that second set. This set shares many similarities with Broadside's Brig. Once again, there's a holding cell, along with an almost identical placement and use of yellow and white bricks. However, with 5 figures instead of 3, along with a palm tree and raft that Redbeard can use to free the captured pirate, it's in many ways a bigger and better version of the Brig, which is already a great location set. With more features and characteristics, this is not only a base, but more importantly, a proper playset that, when released, gave fans the ability to create their own LEGO pirate story. It's not hard to figure out where this set belongs. That's right, A tier. Unfortunately, after the 1991 sets, the Imperial Soldiers vanished from store shelves for 24 years. In that time, other factions were introduced, and rebooted themes also appeared after the original run of LEGO Pirates came to an end. Thankfully, in 2015, the Imperial Soldiers returned with the self-titled Pirates reboot. Sadly, only 2 Imperial Soldiers location sets were released under this theme. Even more disappointing is the fact that the soldiers were not provided with any sort of ship. While I would have preferred a larger quantity of Imperial Soldiers sets, the quality of these sets was there. Soldiers Outpost is a location set done right. While the outpost may be small, I love the tattered look and the inclusion of 2 soldiers and 1 pirate, along with a raft and some sea life that makes this an all-around great playset. Even though it's small, the outpost looks good. Ultimately, this belongs in A tier. Soldiers Fort is the second location set released under the 2015 Pirates theme. Between the inclusion of a pulley system, holding cell, cannon, and tiny dock, this is a small yet loaded base of operations. This build provides fans the ability to create a larger base, with a hook included, that allows the build to connect to the Soldiers Outpost. While I love the look of this build, I don't like its size. Sure, you can make a larger base, but still, pirate fans should not have to go out of their way to receive a decent-sized fortress. It's the principle that really bothers me. No, this theme did not need another base, as big as Eldorado Fortress, but a bigger location build than this one would have been a great way to honor the Imperial Soldiers, while providing fans with a decent foe for the pirates to take on. B tier for this build. Last but not least, we have our final Imperial Soldiers set to date, that being the 2023 retro remake of the Eldorado Fortress. I'll be honest, I adore this build. The set does a perfect job at honoring the legacy of the original fortress, while at the same time providing an updated design that allows this set to fit in with other high-quality builds LEGO is currently releasing under the Icons banner. The brick-built raised baseplate looks fantastic, and the ability that fans have to rearrange the set to their liking is an awesome feature. This set, similar to the original fortress, is littered with details. and while the merchant ship included wasn't in the original build, as it came with the Imperial Trading Post, it's a great add-on for this build. Without a doubt, this set belongs next to the original Eldorado Fortress. That's right, it's going in S tier. Based on my rankings, it's pretty evident that I adore this faction, and I have no shame with that being the case. The Imperial Soldiers are without a doubt a fantastic faction, and it's been awesome to see them appear in 4 separate decades. This first faction set LEGO Pirates up for success in the 1990s. And I think every fan should be grateful of the fantastic work LEGO did in developing this faction. What do you think of the Imperial Soldiers, these builds, and my ranking? Be sure to sound off in the comments down below.